It's been hard for me, anyway, I'm not sure what it's been like for you, to find like a level.
Mm-hmm.
Because every walk is different.
Sure.
And sometimes what I just do, because it doesn't seem like she's responding, I'll just hit the vibrate button. She'll respond to that.
Right.
But I don't know if that,
If that's correct or not.
Yeah. I mean, it gets her attention and she, stops doing what I don't want her to do.
Right.
But, I'm hesitant to crank it up to like 30.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, so the vibrate, in the beginning, a couple things can happen. One, the dog will freak out or over-respond because it's just there's no kind of level to it. And they'll be responsive in the beginning, and then after a couple of weeks, they don't care anymore because it's just a vibration, there's nothing negative associated to it. With the stim, because you can level it, right, low to high and stuff, dogs, more often than not, tend to respond better to that. But ultimately, the vibrate, if you don't use it, typically uses its effectiveness, okay? And it doesn't really, like if the dog panics too much, it doesn't teach anything because the dog's just freaking out.
Just scared.
Yeah, okay? So we always want to use that stem. So the issue would be making that connection, okay? So what number are you currently set at?
11.
Okay, so go ahead and give it 10 for Luna. Yeah. So right there, I can tell you how to contact. Can you see that?
No.
Okay, so look at Luna. You see that twitch?
Okay, I can see a twitch. Yeah. Okay.
So that's connection. So we have the 3 levels. We have connection,
Okay.
perception, and working. Connection is when you see the twitch, and like she could be staring at a dog, and then you see this, but nothing's happening. Okay? That was more so perception, because I saw her go like this every time she tapped.
She's looking for it.
Yeah. Working is when we see a little bit of a bigger movement, a bit more urgency. Go ahead and go to 14. And tap. And you're going to do single taps. Okay? So you see how much she moves here. Okay, we're going to wait a moment, because that was a double tap, so that might have been one.
Another question is that we're not sure if we're putting it on her right. See, it always, no matter how tight you do it, it always swings to the front.
Yeah, so with small dogs, because they have little necks and stuff, that's...
So just kind of put it on as tight as we can.
Yeah, and then if it keeps going down to the bottom, just check her neck, because what can happen is pressure sores from the 2 probes always landing on the bottom. It has nothing to do with the stem, it's just the 2 probes. Pressure, yeah.
And if that happens, what do we do?
Just adjust it.
Oh, just keep moving it.
Yeah, now there is an adapter called a comfort adapter, which is meant for extended wear, so that we don't get that. It can still happen, but it takes a lot more for them to develop. So that's another option for you if you just see it always going down. I can send you the link for a comfort adapter.
Because you try putting like in your video like behind the ear, but it just
doesn't stay.
Doesn't stay.
Yeah, it's a common issue with the little guys. So I would just keep an eye on it and adjust it whenever you see it. Otherwise, if you start to see those pressure sores, because she's only wearing it when you're training.
Yes.
Right? And when you're going to be actively needing it, I think when you're going to start to see the issue is when you go over to a family thing, there's going to be a lot
she
of
wears it for a
kids.
couple hours.
Exactly. Okay, so that's where that comfort adapter will come into play. I still recommend that people rotate every 2 hours, but if they forget, it's not a big deal. Okay? So on that 14, that was what you have on, right? Let's just give a single tap here. So you see how big that was? Let's go down to 13. And a little bit of tension towards you, and tap. Right there. So you see how much she moves in response to the 13? That's what I would call a working level. Okay? The perception was kind of like, what's going on? And now you're getting, whoa, what's going on? Okay? So you said you're as high as 30.
No.
He's exactly.
I said it like,
Oh, you don't want to get as high as 30.
Right. But depending on where it is, and maybe
15.
like one day I put it on a little bit looser.
Sure.
And I got up to like 18 or 19.
Sure.
And it didn't seem like she was responding to
Sure.
the way she had previously, but no, I haven't gone higher than 20.
Okay. Yeah, so like even with the little guys, if you see the contraction but no response, I just keep bumping it because she's just tied up in here.
Yeah.
And hey, Enrique, how high are you right now with Taco?
90, 92.
Okay. Where is he? Taco's little golden doodle. There he is. He's in the kennel resting right now. He just got off the training floor, and we just keep adjusting it until we make contact. And he wasn't yipping or anything, but you saw the contraction.
Yeah.
But that's what he requires. Okay. And size doesn't matter. We have another dog here, actually next to Taco. His name's Buddy. Earlier, I think the handler was on 75, and he's actually the same size as Luna.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, she's pretty like,
She's
she
sensitive to
usually
it.
reacts pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Sure. So if you ever have to bump it, you know, because the other thing is, realistically speaking, is if something happens, whether she gets off the leash and she's running away, or you know, maybe she gives you a reactive response towards the kid and you need to like, just shut it down, you're not, you have to think on the fly and be ready and comfortable with going higher.
Yeah.
You know, because that's happened to clients where the dog took off.
They're like, oh, I don't want to hurt her, but then,
The dog's running away.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that actually happened, because Elizabeth referred you, right? One of the neighbors in the area, Melissa, I trained her dog as well, and her dog took off towards the street one day randomly. And this was before we even did recall. And she told me, like, I had to max it out. And he yelped, but it was either he ran in the street
Yeah.
or I gambled getting my dog back.
For
And I was
sure.
like, yeah, like, you know.
yeah.
So, it's nice to troubleshoot, is what I call it, when you, even when you're at 20 and not getting it, I just make it happen. Because in a situation like that, you have to think on the
Yeah.
fly and be able to make that happen.
Right.
Okay? Anything else?
No, she's been really, I mean, she's been like, she's always pretty good on walks with him.
Sure.
But she's been like worlds better on walks with me
Excellent.
since wearing it.
Good.
The only thing is still some dogs, she's a little,
What
like
reactive to?
still, and I've had to like, that was one time the other day, I was walking her and she was really good with it, and then she saw a dog and tried to go, and I had to like
Bump it.
bump it like quite a few.
Sure.
And got her attention, but I guess I still, and we didn't really talk about that last week, but
Right,
that was
right.
something for me especially, because she's much better with dogs when I'm walking her.
Mhm.
But to know how to manage when there's other dogs and with that, you know, like the timing of it all, and
Yeah.
like, so yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we'll do a quick review, see how everything's looking. We're gonna work on the second half of HEAL, which is gonna contain part of the answer that you're looking for.
Great.
And then I'll give you instruction on how to handle those things.
Great.
Okay?
Perfect.
So who wants to go first?
I'll go. I got the leash. I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. I did my best to explain like the turning.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know how to do. You should go first.
Okay.
Yeah, because I still don't know how to do that part.
Okay. Go, oh.
Yep, whenever you're ready. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I was pushing them.
It's okay. No, well, I mean, she's lagging. So after you complete this turn here, we're going to see how she does, and then you're going to give a little bit of forward pressure on the leash. Look, tip, tip, yep, tip. There she goes. Now she's speeding up. That's good. Good, tip, a little bit of a pull forward, tip. There she goes. See how she starts to run up to your leg? Yeah. And you're still at, what was it, 14 or 13 or something? Okay. There you go. And then when you walk with her on a regular walk, is she usually lagging like this?
She's usually closer.
Okay. So we'll do a little bit more. Okay. And I'm going to have you shorten your leash just a wee bit. And we're going to be a little bit more strict on that, keeping her at your side even as you're moving.
Okay.
So if you're moving, you can look like this, but I don't want you to alter your body too
So
much.
she should be closer than she was.
She should be right there.
Okay.
Right shoulder to your left leg.
Okay.
Because we just started the exercise, so there's no reason why she can't be in the correct positioning.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's better. Tap, tap. Oh, there she goes. She looked further when I looked up. This is better. So now she's a little bit to the side. Okay, good turn. Tap forward. There she goes. Good tap, good. Good. Keep forward. Get ready for that turn. Good turn. Good, and then slow to a stop. Oh, that's pretty good. Excellent. Yeah, so it's just the lagging, which
Yeah,
is,
honestly, when you're walking her, I would say the bigger that okay?
No.
No?
So,
Okay.
the visual for heel, because heel is actually very strict with the command, is go back to her right shoulder there, okay? So that's heel. And it's glued right onto her left leg, okay? I give a 6-inch window. Anything to the side outside of that is too far. Anything too far back, too far, definitely never ahead.
Okay.
Even if it's a couple of inches. So for most people, especially if they struggle with a lot of pulling in the beginning, they're happy that their dog doesn't pull as much.
Yeah.
Okay, as much as it could keep.
She'll be like, it'll be slack, but she'll be like there.
Yeah, right, because it's like, oh, this is so much better than what it was before. And I go, true, however, it's a window, and dogs do get the concept of being in the correct positioning.
Okay.
And I'll get some dogs that even forge an inch. And as soon as the owner tries to turn, they're already turning before the owner gets a chance to tap. So they're playing the game.
Yeah.
So part of that tightness is actually tied to reactivity.
Okay.
Okay.
And making them be like you're telling them what to do.
Yeah, like it's this, not that.
Right.
Okay. So it's just like my mom said, like as a punishment, like write this 100 times.
Right.
Right. And I came back with, 90 times.
Yeah.
90 times is not 100.
Right. Like it's good, but it's not on.
Yeah, you're close, but you still got to do 10 more.
Yeah.
Right. So same thing for the dog. Yeah, that's much better, but you still got to do here.
Okay.
Okay. So the more black and white you are with your obedience, the better her behavior is. Ideally, before the problem even rears its head.
Yes.
Because she's more worried about what your standards are than she is about the dog walking past you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all that stuff works.
Yeah.
So whenever you're walking with her, just think right shoulder, left leg. Okay. A little bit behind is fine. That 2-foot lag, that's way too much.
Okay.
In the first week, like, and let it slide.
Yeah.
Because, you're learning, your dog's learning stuff. And typically would resolve itself. So if you're walking outside of this and you're like, yeah, she's great outside of this, then I go, then I'm not worried about it here.
Yeah, she's definitely not lagging when she walks. There's anything she's, like I said, like a little bit ahead. But yeah, that makes sense.
Gotcha. Otherwise, that would kill.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you walk with her, what was your, could you explain to him what the exercise was?
And we went on a walk together, and I kind of showed him, and then, because we got to split the walks. He does the morning walks, I do the evening walks.
I know this was like that exercise you showed, I have not been doing, I've been turning with her, but she listens, without me having to yank her or zap her, to turn one way or another.
Okay.
She tends to do pretty well.
You said that one day, was it 2 days ago, she just was not responding. She wasn't being bad, but she wasn't really responding. I guess that's the day you tried the vibrate.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay. So let's go ahead and just swap handlers real quick, just so I can see how you're working with her, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
You're fine.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Nope, this way.
Yeah, tap forward, tap, 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 tap. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, which is good because now I'm seeing tap.
Distraction.
Yeah.
Come here.
That's better. Tap, tap, tap. Good.
They're off.
Good, and then go ahead and come to a stop. Good. So what I would change here is just keeping those arms down. Because when you're walking, you had your arms up, and you're applying tension yourself, and then she was applying tension. So if you're nice and relaxed, and if you feel like this happening, what does this tell you?
That she's not behaving.
She's not behaving, right?
But you're already tense.
Exactly, but if you're already up here, so you're putting tension, she's putting tension,
Understood.
there's no real conversation there. So then when you're walking by here, and she started to forward, I saw more of a pull, and then that's when I started seeing tap.
Okay.
So now I just kept my arms relaxed and kept tapping until she corrected herself.
So do less put less force on the leash and just rely more on?
Use the remote more.
Okay.
The more discipline, so I look at the colors discipline, the more that she gets, like, the less likely we're gonna see reactivity and then the reactivity toward kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you're disciplining for all this other stuff. And it
So
changes.
she's not gonna like dare be naughty that way because she knows she gets in trouble even for this.
Correct. Like, that's the theory of how it goes.
Okay.
And then once we get to the point where it's like, okay, now then tell me how Luna is when you go to the family get together.
Yeah.
And then that tells me where she's at here.
Okay.
So to give you an example, I worked with a client yesterday whose dog was bitten a couple people. And I'm like, I don't feel like your dog's really aggressive. I think your dog is just overloaded with stress.
Yeah, like
Okay?
she's bitten a couple people.
Yeah. So we did this exercise, and it was only the second class, and I took my sleeve there, and I went to touch the dog. And she's like, I'm sorry if my dog bites you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Don't
You're like,
worry
this is
about
what I
it.
do."
This is what I do, yeah. And I'm like, but you can't assume the dog is gonna bite you. She's like, but he is. I'm like, you don't know that. I'm like, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
And then guess what? He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He just was like that the whole time. He was okay, and then she's like, oh. I'm like, yeah, like, this was the whole purpose of this.
Right.
Is I want to see if I make the dog more concerned about you, and also learn that, holy crap, there's like discipline now.
Yeah.
What does it fix? I mean, we still have work to do, but then just seeing that, because her assumption was she's going to bite you.
Right.
I'm like, maybe,
Yeah.
but we won't know until we get there.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, you want to do as much with the remote as possible, because essentially you're biting her.
Okay.
Right, so the more you're biting her, the more she's learning kind of her place within the home, and then we see what does that achieve. Okay? Let's do one more kind of just back and forth, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
Go on.
Good. Tap forward, tap, 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 tap. There you go. Good. Good. We're going to do one more loop around. Right. Good job.
There you go.
Good. One more pass by. Tap, tap, right, tap. Good. And then you'll slow down to a stop once you're ready. Much better. Okay? So it's a little detail, but it's giving you a lot more opportunity to use that remote.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I have been doing a lot of polling, kind of like correcting both ways, but I understand what you're saying with that. That makes sense.
And especially like because she's small,
Yeah.
so when you do something, like you get a response,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
The other thing is because you use a slip leash as well, is that it gives you much more immediate control than like if you're using a harness or something. So that's another thing, right?
So do you, actually on that, do you have this, like, is that an okay leash to use?
Yeah, no,
Okay, okay.
yeah, I have one right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so slip leads are perfectly fine.
Okay.
They give you more immediate control. I see you
Right.
have it on the top of.
It's loose, we need to get a new one, yeah.
Is it the notch thing that doesn't hold?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stretched out a little bit.
Yeah, it happens. But otherwise, once she's trained, it doesn't matter because she's not going to be pulling.
Right.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add in the formal heel command. I use the word heel. That's fine for you.
Yep.
Okay. So heel is what's going to turn everything on. This past week I said just walk and tap. She should default into the behavior, and then we were using break to tell her your job is done. Right. So technically now, if you walk outside and you don't say anything to Luna, technically she can do whatever she wants. Okay. Once you hear the word heel, it's her job to walk with you, stay with you, and then we're going to do the auto sits as well. But then it's your job to make sure that she is doing what she's supposed to, but then also communicating what's going on. Because remember, you know when you're going to stop, you know when you're going to turn, Luna does not. So we're going to go over all that stuff today. Okay? So I'm going to have you do is going to get in position next to Luna, and you're going to cue the word heel, and then you're going to move forward with your left leg first.
So say the word and then move forward with my left leg.
Correct.
Heel.
And you're just going to walk, tap, tap. Good. You're just going to walk and come to a stop, and we're going to repeat that pattern 4 times. Tap. Good job. Good. Go ahead and come to that stop. Good. Then you're going to go heel, left leg.
Heel.
Good. We're gonna repeat that 3 more times. Going to come down to a stop. Right? Good. Heel.
Heel.
Good. 2 more times. Good.
Heel.
Good. Last one.
Heel.
Very good. Right, good job. And in here, good. That's fine for now. Let's go ahead and swap handlers.
And do the same thing.
Yes.
Heel. Heel. Ready to reset?
Go ahead and lightly pull up on your leash and tap. So instead of saying sit,
Just tap.
you're going to pull up and tap. Okay? We're going to see what she does in response. Go ahead.
Heel.
Good. And then relax. Good.
Heel.
Right. Good. Couple more.
Heel.
Good. Last one.
Heel.
Good. Very good. We're going to pause right there. Excellent. Okay. So just getting you used to that pattern of heel left leg. So dogs have a wider peripheral range than we do, so they can see this left leg coming out,
Okay.
and that's like the visual cue of
Start.
now we're moving.
Yeah.
Okay. In more advanced training, left leg means walk with me, right leg means don't move. Okay.
Oh.
It sounds fancy,
Yeah.
but it's just conditioning which leg you use whenever you're doing different commands.
It's
Okay?
really harder for, as a human to use your left foot.
Yeah, because you think about it, you have to think about
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
especially if you're right-handed.
Yeah.
People that are right-handed tend to be right foot dominant.
Yeah.
But once you get used to it, like, because I'm right-handed, and when I first started training the left, it felt kind of weird, but it's actually it's easier to do left if you're right-handed than to do right. If I try to do right, it sucks. Like, I'm not that good.
He's left-handed, so.
Gotcha.
Well, that's the thing, like, I don't know which foot I typically lead with. I would have to like stand and start walking.
I think it's
Sure.
easier to be able to do this with my right hand. Like, I think this, when you were saying it last week, if I did do this with my left hand, like, change the knob and stuff, I think
Sure.
that would be difficult.
Sure, yeah. So, now we're labeling it. Again, technically, if you don't say anything, Luna's can do whatever she wants. So now we're going to start getting more the specifics, okay? So heel means walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop, okay? So then when you came to that stop that you did it sit, and you pulled up, and then you cued it, okay? The reason why we don't say sit is because then it becomes heel. Sit, heel, sit.
So she's only gonna sit when you say sit, but you want her just to sit when you stop.
Correct.
Okay.
It's built into the command, right? So she's not going to sit right now. What command is she in? Yeah. Last thing you
I
said.
see.
Okay. Everybody gets to stumped on that one. But what do you mean she's not going to sit? I'm like, she's in the heel. That's what you told her.
Okay.
Sit is built into it.
And we haven't said break yet.
Correct. Right. Now, when you said sit that one time, she was in the sit. Okay. So
Okay.
if we think kind of more advanced, if I'm in a heel and I stop, Luna auto sits. So if I move again, what is she going to think?
I move to.
Exactly, right, because that's heel. But if I say sit, that means you don't move. So if I walk, she shouldn't.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
Okay.
Okay? And it's very easy to get confused, especially in the beginning when you're trying to just like differentiate all these things. It happened with my last client right now. So we have to go through an exercise to just kind of clear all that stuff up. But then that's how people create confusion with the dog because they're misinterpreting what the dog is doing.
Yeah.
Okay? So before we stop and before we turn, remember what we want to do.
Before we stop and before we turn, slow down.
Yes. Were you slowing down?
It seems like I was not.
You were
I
not
feel like that's the
slowing
answer
down.
you're looking
Yeah,
for.
you were not slowing down. Correct. Right? Now she was getting it because we're in the training
Right.
moment. But if you were to be walking in real life and you walk for 15 minutes and stop,
Yeah.
Luna would be going. Okay, that would be on the handler.
Right, it's not her fault. Right.
Now technically, if that happens, I still correct, but I put it on the handler.
Okay.
So yes, we want to remember to always slow down before we turn, before we stop. It's going to become super important for this next part.
Okay.
So there's two types of turns. There's the crossover turn, where you're crossing over Luna, and then there's the 180 pivot, going the opposite way. Okay? So you've been doing the 180s for the corrections, right? Every time she passes you, you would just go the opposite way like that, right? But these turns are when Luna's paying attention.
Okay.
Okay? So if I'm walking with Luna, she's doing perfect, and I just do this out of nowhere, it's unfair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So we want to make sure that we slow down at least 3 steps. More is perfectly fine. Okay? So we're going to start with the crossovers, because that's typically the hardest for people, is when you're walking, when you slow down, you want to time it so that you're crossing with your right leg. Okay? So then it looks like this.
So it's if I be doing
Exactly, you're doing that. Okay? Now when we do the crossover in the beginning, it's a sharp 90-degree cut, then the left leg, and then a 90-degree cut with the right leg. Now we're going the opposite way. So you would be outlining like a square. Okay? Now you want to make sure that that right leg is very pronounced, because a lot of people do this. More like
So you want to like
45.
step almost like in front of her?
Exactly, because if you do a 45, you end up kicking the dog off. Okay, with the left leg. So for Luna, if you're doing this correctly, there actually shouldn't be any remote here. You should see her naturally start pivoting with you, as long as she's paying attention. So when you curve in front of her like that, she sees your leg as kind of like a wall, so that she doesn't want to collide, that she should naturally pivot with you and make space for you. Some dogs will stop, like they'll just sit down like what's going on. That's fine too. Typically after a few grabs, they go, oh, you're just walking?
Yeah.
And then just move with you. Okay? The second turn goes to the immediate right at 180. That's going to be the opposite. It's going to be step out with the left, step back onto the right, and then step back with the left again. Okay, so from where you're at, go forward left, back right, forward left, left down. Okay? And same thing, before you do that pivot, you want to make sure you do slow down. Now, people tend to naturally pivot like this anyways, but the moment it comes to do it on purpose, all of a sudden it's a problem.
So how do we, so for the second one, I guess, how does the dog, you just, Luna would then know that I have to go to your left side,
She has to come around.
right? Because then she has to come around.
So
to
what
the other
it's
side.
going to look like for Luna
Yeah.
is when you extend, I pause a moment, and you'll see her curve around. So then when I'm coming here, she's about here, and then we're back together.
Okay.
Once you see it, it's going to make more sense. If she's paying attention and your movements are correct, there should be no remote. Okay, because it's all divided. The only time we're remoting is when she's not paying attention or getting out of line. Okay, so we're going to first start with those crossover turns. So just one more time. We sweep like 20 times a day, and all the fur and leaves. Right? And I like to use stuff like this. So if I'm walking with Luna, it's that right leg, left leg, right leg. Then we're going straight back right that third step. Okay? So I'm going to have you go to cue that word heel. You're going to move left leg. I'm going to have you go straight for a bit, and then go into those turns.
Heel.
Good. Keep forward. Good.
The same one again?
Yep.
I should.
So you did a little right. Did you see that? And you want to make it a very pronounced.
Okay,
right
make it
step.
bigger.
Yeah. You're cutting right in front of her with that right leg.
So I'm gonna
Like that. Left, right, up, like that. Good, perfect. Let's do 4 more like that one, okay? So that's a little right.
It is awkward.
This is the hardest turn for everybody. There you go. Left, right. Good. 2 more like that one. 3 more. Right, left, right. Very good. That's fine. Good. Couple more. Right, right. So you see how when you did that, she looked up at you? Because she saw you moving into her space, so she goes, what's going on here? And then she moved with your body naturally. Right, yep, left, right. And then slow to a stop. Good. And then light up on the leash. Tip, tip. So when you pull up, keep it consistent like that. Perfect.
Okay.
So we're going to try that again.
Okay.
Your turns were correct. You were making the bigger steps. That was all good. But you're getting in the habit of using your leash to kind of delay her.
Okay.
And you want to just keep those arms down. Remember, if she's following you, this is like dancing. In dancing, we have a leader and a follower. An experienced dancer can make an inexperienced dancer look good.
Yeah.
Because they know how to lead correctly, right? So same thing for Luna. So it's very natural. Everybody does it when they're
I think
turning.
it's almost more so because I'm like looking at my feet and I'm trying to.
Yeah. So I'm going to have you as best you can be completely relaxed and just let that body language speak for itself.
Okay.
Okay? Go ahead.
Yep.
Right, left, right. Perfect. 4 more. Left, right. Good. 3 more. You saw your left hand started to move a bit? All right, left, right. Perfect. 2 more. Left, right. Good. And 1 more. Right, left, right. So you see each time you turn into her, how she looks up?
Yeah.
That's her checking in to go, what's going on? Okay? Yep. Good job. Now we're going to try the pivots.
Okay.
So that's going to be forward left, back right, forward left. Yep. Good. 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 3 more. Yep. Right. Good job. 2 more. Keep those arms relaxed. There you go. Yep. There you go.
Okay.
There she goes. Yep.
So just give her a second to catch up. Don't
Yep.
like.
Yeah. You see how she does that? There she goes. And now she she likes to do 1 more pivot. There. That was a good one. Then slow to stop. Good. So for some of them, and it's not that it was wrong, because this is the first time anybody's communicated with her in her language.
Yeah.
Dogs read body language. That's why this is so quick.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh man, the dog's so smart, this and that. I'm like, this is how dogs talk to
Yeah.
each other. It's the humans that don't know how to
Yeah.
communicate. So here, on some of the pivots, on Luna's part, you were doing just fine. When you would complete the pivot, she tends to hover over here. So then as you give her time, then she started to come back over here. Because it's the first time she's done it.
Yeah. She's kind of like, what are you doing? Okay.
Yes. So for the first few, when you did the crossover, she kind of just stopped, what's going on here,
Yeah.
right? And she said, oh, okay. You repeated it a few times, and then she just naturally started targeting you, okay? So, and then on the pivots, you saw her just coming around so that you were turning together. So all that, it was correct, okay? So I'm gonna have you try now, is you're gonna blend these 2 turns together. Hey! Blending 2 turns together, just going between them, okay, randomly. If everything is correct, there should be no need for tapping, there should be no need for, floating anything like that. It's just nice and relaxed, let your body language tell her what you're doing, okay? Go ahead.
Yep.
Good pivot. Right, good. Good pivot. Keep relaxed.
Mike worked last night.
I'm just trying to think about, the pivot one I'm gonna have trouble with.
There you go, good turn. Good. Good. Good pivot. That's okay. There she goes. She went the opposite way, but she recovered. That's fine. We'll just do a couple more. Good pivot. Tap. There she goes. One more. There you go. You got it. Slow to stop. Good. So the only time you had to tap was when she got out of position. But other than that, all those turns were correct. Okay? So I know it's weird in the beginning, but once you, like I've been doing it, I cannot do it the wrong way.
I believe it becomes second nature. It's more of the like, okay, now I'm going to do one. It's, you know.
Yes, you have to plan ahead and wait till you try to incorporate this on an actual walk, then it gets even more difficult.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So let's go to swap handlers here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start those crossovers first.
Okay.
That's the right, left, right. And we'll do a batch of those, and then we'll move into the pivots. Go ahead.
Heel.
Right, left, right. Good.
2 big steps are really
Should I,
your wheelhouse.
should I cut it down?
No, you're good.
That's what that's like natural for you.
There you go. Tap forward, yep. Right. So right there, you saw she started to forge ahead. Okay. So technically, that's a 180 pivot correct to line her back up again. Okay. Because whenever she forges ahead, I know the intention is the left turn, but you actually go to correct and go the immediate right.
So if she's like we're on a walk and she's kind of like doing this, she's taking a few steps ahead.
Good.
Should we do the
Turn.
the turn, or instead of a buzzer, do the turn to try and redirect her?
Well, you turn and buzz.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't do the steps like this. You just turn. Okay, because you only go to slow to stop. You only do these specific turns when she's paying attention.
I see. Okay.
Okay. So you'll know that because when you slow down, she'll slow down,
slows down.
which gives you time to go into the turn. So driving, right? If you just, let's say you're in the middle lane and you just turn, if there's someone behind you or next to you, they're going to be very, very mad, right? Or you're going to crash. Same thing if you abruptly stop. If you're driving, even if it's like in the neighborhood and you just stop and there's someone behind you, they're not are going to have enough time and they're going to collide with you. So the slowing down, flashes your red lights and it lets the people behind you know like, hey, something's changing. And when you pop on that blinker, you're saying like, hey, I'm switching lanes. Same thing for Luna here. When you slow down, it's like you're pumping those red lights, let them know, hey, something's changing. And then when you use those leg movements, that's your blinker. Okay? And I hate when people don't use their blinkers. So does your dog. Oh, so yeah. Gotcha, huh?
It's like a pet peeve. No, it's a pet peeve of his.
My brother never does, and it drives me nuts.
So, and for Luna's part, very common, for walking with her, and our intention is to left turn, right? And you slow down. I saw her actually speed up. She went opposite to you. But it's so easy to just do this, and she's so little that you just are able to like, no, I'm going to do this, right?
Yeah.
But if we keep doing that, we create bad habits. And the next thing you know, you're constantly pulling her back to that. Exactly. So if that ever happens, default to that turn, tap to line her up. Turn again if you have to. And then go into the turn.
So you're kind of like tapping to say stop going forward, and then you're turning to like reset.
Redirect her. Because it's the correct redirect. Okay? For Luna, I don't like this. Oh, mom's going that way.
Right.
She catches up and goes away. Okay? So if you do the tap to slow her down, it's a forever problem. So the reason why I'm showing you two turns here is one, if you're on the sidewalk, if you can't pivot back, you have this. Because now you're on the other side of the sidewalk. Okay? If you don't have space here, well, now you have this to go this way. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have two turns to go the opposite way.
So we can kind of just like go up and back blocks. You know what I mean? Like the sidewalk. It's not like you would, normally in a walk, you wouldn't go like back and forth on the same block.
Right.
But with the turns, you're kind
Like
of.
the practice?
Yeah.
And then what I suggest in the beginning is before you start your walk, You give a potty break. I do 5 heels to stops, 5 heels to crossovers, and then 5 heels, to pivots, okay, to warm up.
I will say she definitely doesn't get the like, she normally doesn't always pee in the beginning of her walk.
Okay, sure.
So that's one thing that we're trying to balance is like giving her enough time to, do her business.
Right.
It's been okay. I mean, for me, I've been doing the break at the end of it and she's like fine and she'll pee then, but sometimes if she has to poop, it's like, she's like, you're buzzing her because she's not walking.
Oh, sure, but she's got to poop. So
Yeah.
what I do is I do correct it. And then if you recognize that she's got to use the bathroom, just correct, walk for a little bit, and then break. Okay? So I know she's got to go, but I wanted to make sure it's on my terms and not on her terms, because that also creates problems.
Yeah.
Okay? And it'll help make things more consistent, because then she's going to learn, I only have a window to do my business.
Right.
So she's going to take advantage of that window, and then the rest of the walks will be pretty easy.
Okay.
Okay? So let's go ahead, we're going to go back to those turns again. We're going to do one more crossover just to make sure that we remember that correctly, and we're going to go into the pivots.
Heel.
Good. And going to slow to stop. Good. Now you're going to do the pivots. That's going to be the left, right, left, going to your immediate right.
Heel.
Right, left. You got it. Good job.
She did yourself.
I know, she kind of,
Sat down.
yeah. Perfect. 3 more. Yep, back. There you go. Yep, there she goes. And cap, speed her up. There she goes. Add a girl. What's important is that he's actually continuing his movement. A lot of people stop when they see their dog stop.
Yeah,
So then the dog thinks like, oh, this is what we're doing. Exactly. All right, yep. And then slow to stop. Excellent. Very good. So now you're going to do the same thing where you're going to go between those turns however you want, okay?
Sure.
Whenever you're ready.
Heel.
Good. Good. Yep, good pivot. Just a few more. Good pivot. She ruptured an anal gland, so she can't have that cone off or she'll start messing with it.
Oh. She loves that basketball.
Yeah.
Pretty cute.
Good. One more turn. Very good, and slow to stop. Very good. Questions? So pretty straightforward, just a matter of practicing and remembering.
Totally.
Heel should never feel, or e-call should never feel like an argument. Most common problem I get is people are too low, or they're not slowing down.
What do you mean when you say it shouldn't feel like an argument?
It should be, so like when you're walking past and you tap, like tap, tap, boom. Now tap, 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 tap.
I also imagine like,
Okay.
you and I are still getting used to it, and there's times we're doing it, and we're like, don't make me buzz you. Like,
Oh, sure. Yeah, so that's part of it, right? A lot of give the dog the opportunity, whether it be in time or just like in repeats, like sit, 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 sit,
Yeah.
sit, right before they kick in with the remote, and that creates problems.
Yeah.
I'm very generous. I'm like that Oprah meme, you get the tap.
Yeah.
Because it speeds up the process.
Yeah.
Because I'm not playing with the dog, I'm like, let's
Yeah.
do it, right?
And I guess the faster she learns,
Yeah.
the less
Yes.
we're gonna have to do it.
Yes, ultimately. Okay, so in the beginning, it's tapping for everything.
Yeah.
But then, once you start to see, wow, she's like not giving me any.
She definitely this week, like,
She
when I
picked
did
it
it
up,
with
yeah.
her on like Sunday and Monday, to like even Friday, worlds better.
Right. So yeah, just keep exposing, and you know, maybe like you should make sure you make progress, and then 'cause the next thing is the dog makes super quick progress, and then the owner starts to lay off the remote, which is correct, but then one day the dog does something, and the owner just like nudges them instead of tapping them, because it's so easy to correct them. You know, kind of going back to that, well, the dog's just here.
Right.
Well, yeah, but it's not about just here, it's about
Right.
here, it's very strict. So just be mindful of that stuff, because then that's how things start to regress.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's go to swap handlers one more time. We're going to talk about reactivity. So, main thing about dog reactivity is always pull up.
Okay.
Never back, never up and back.
Okay.
Okay? Back,
So just-
always straight up. Back and up and back, escalate, up, de-escalates.
Okay.
Okay? So if you watch, there's a dog, her name is Malachite, I believe, yes, it's lesson 2. She has really big reactive moments. And you see the owner holding up the leash because like the owner is not strong enough to hold her by herself, so I'm kind of helping her.
Yeah.
And we're remoting until eventually she just chills out. We just like, and it's really, really big, like 2-minute long reactivity, okay? And then we did about 3 to 4 times, and towards the end of the session, we see some dogs passing by, which normally she was blowing up at, she was completely fine.
Okay.
And the owner's like, wow, like, she didn't blow up. I'm like, yeah, because you spent those 2 minutes going, you're not going to do this.
Yeah.
So then you broke the behavior, and the dog was fine, it's not even worth it anymore.
Right.
Okay? So always up. Now you do want to be mindful because you're using a slip leash, because slip leash does cut
Right.
off the airflow. But she'll tell you what's too much. Okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and just kind of hold your leash like you normally do. And then what you want to get used to is if you see a dog passing, okay, so if this is the sidewalk, we'll pretend you're at the curb and there's grass right there, okay? Is when you see a dog coming, it's easiest to control reactivity if you're stationary, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because anytime anyone has had to try to walk past a dog, it never works.
Yeah, she pulls and tries to.
There's too
yeah.
much to think about.
Yeah.
Much simpler if I just step aside, remote her into that sitting position, and then I shorten my leash.
Okay.
Right, just like that, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to take a little bit closer step to her, right? So here, your leash is short but not tight.
Right.
And what you're doing is you're limiting range of motion.
Okay.
Okay, so give more slack. Give a little bit more. Now pull up. See how high you have to go?
It's like, yeah, it's such a big movement.
Yes, right? And then I've seen people be like this with their dog.
Right.
I'm like, why wouldn't you just go like this? Right?
Yeah.
So then one is shorten it, and now go up.
So I just have to do a little.
Yeah, so you're much closer. And you want to be more so, because you're going up like this, which is kind of angled out, and you want to just straight up from where she's at. Exactly, just like that, okay? So when you see the dog approaching, if it seems like random reactivity, my suggestion is you just assume every dog's going to
It's
be-
definitely random.
Okay.
The only we know she's nice to puppies. But
Okay.
other than that.
Sure, so just assume we see a dog, she's
Yeah.
going to be reactive, okay?
Yeah.
So if you step aside, you're on the curb, your responsibility is Luna.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and look at Luna, and tell me when you see me re-enter the picture, okay?
No.
There, okay. So that's about like a 10 to 12 foot space,
Mhm.
right? So you want to use that peripheral range to not get tunnel vision, because that happens a lot, where you're so zoned in, because what you're looking for is as the dog is approaching, you're watching Luna, but you're watching the
So
environment.
keep an eye on. Yeah.
Yes, so now you learn, like let's say this is all fine, but then right here, she blows up.
So do you get an idea of how close they have to be for her to get?
Yes, so you can be a step ahead. So you
Now,
start
what if it's
building.
like, sometimes it's like they're across the street. Like they're across the street, walking on the other side of the sidewalk, and she's like lunging and barking and
Okay.
same thing, just sit.
Yeah, so in
Let
that
them
case, because they're across the street, as long as you don't have anything coming
Right,
over here, just,
right.
I come to a stop, and I start remoting, and
Okay.
see what she does. So if she's,
So remote once she starts reacting.
correct.
Okay.
So if I'm Luna, and I'm lunging and being reactive, right, it's a lot of this.
Yeah.
When you get the right number, you're gonna see this. And she's gonna move back, okay? So we have engagement, and then we have disengagement, okay? So when you kick in at like 14 or 18, you know, you're gonna see her go like this, and she's gonna back off, okay? I wanna see the backing off, 'cause
Okay.
that's her going, oh, don't wanna do that, okay? Now, when you back her off, you want to then see what is your next response.
Yeah.
Okay, so like if she's lunging and I tap her on like 20 and she goes crap and she backs away and she's just standing there and the dog's passing, you don't have to do anything.
Great.
Okay, you've just stopped it. She
Yeah.
goes, oh, when I do this, this happens.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm going to choose not to do that.
Yeah.
And then we just build off of the information. Okay, if the person is here, immediately in front of you, by having her there, she can't get far.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part of it. It allows you to watch Luna, take in your environment, figure out what that threshold is. If she starts to work up, ears, hackles, tail, standing up, because standing up isn't sitting down, right? Tail. That's the precursor to the
So
reactivity.
you tap her and make her sit.
Yes, because you're trying to de-escalate her
Yeah.
at, 2 to 3 and not 8 to 9.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be more work, it's going to be harder.
Yeah. So when you are tapping her, like you see a dog, whatever, and you're on, like on 12 right now, I tap her, no response, do I just immediately bump it up a little bit? Because she's like so reactive. Like I don't give her like 3 chances, or do I?
So you can do a couple of things. One, you can do that tap, 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 bump,
Quick,
right?
okay.
And I don't look at the dial, I just jump it and then tap. And if I get a big yelp, I'm like, oh crap, I went from 12 to 36.
Right.
I know I'm somewhere in the middle. Next time I might go to 24, right? So you can do the 3 tap, or if you have a good eye, like I can tell off the first hit.
Yeah.
So if you tap her and she's just like unfazed,
Yeah.
you can just bump it,
Yeah.
right? Until you hit like 22, and all of a sudden that first tap gets you like, whoa.
Right.
Like again, this shouldn't be an
So
arm.
there's situations where we're like, she always reacts this time. You can like preemptively bump it a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
You can already.
That's
so,
what I was asking, because like she's pretty bad with me with dogs.
Sure.
It's like pretty, like 90% of dogs.
So then the next thing, or the other approach is, because when you're in the moment, it's hard to think of everything all at once.
Yeah.
Okay? Is if you remote her at 12 and you're not able to bump it, then I assume the next time I see a dog, 12 isn't going to work.
Okay.
16. So then I see a dog, I step aside, 16.
As opposed to every time trying to in the moment. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so you're stacking on what you're learning each time.
Okay.
So then let's say you try 16, still didn't work.
Yep.
The next time 20, 24,
Right.
28, 32. And then on 32 you realize, wow, one tap and she
Yeah,
just
this
cut
is
it
the
out
number.
immediately, right? So then every time I see a dog, I step aside and I'm already there.
Ready for 32.
Yes.
Okay.
Now sometimes she might be fine, and then you tap her for like maybe the ear thing, and you will trigger reactivity.
okay. Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
You keep the pressure.
Okay.
Okay, because she's thinking, remote means go, when remote means done.
Okay. So
Okay.
it's tap and pull.
Tap it up.
Okay.
Right?
Tap it up.
And then we're not promoting her into a sit. Okay?
Okay.
It's what I call a relaxed state.
Okay.
So if someone comes over, you say, make yourself comfortable, chances are they sit down.
Right.
Same thing for the dog. People tend to say sit or go into obedience mode, and it's not about that. It's about
Yeah.
just getting them to relax.
Yeah.
And it makes it very easy for the owner to recognize, is my dog in the correct position?
Because she could be standing there, but still like cool. You're
Yes,
facing.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? And I don't mind if she looks at the dog.
Yeah.
I just don't want locking on.
Yeah, like the hair on the back of her neck and the ears and
Yeah, all that stuff.
yeah.
Then once it passes, you start walking.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, the other thing that you're doing here is every time you step aside and you do this,
Uh-huh.
you're building a habit.
Mm-hmm.
When I see a dog, boom, every time, right? So, because some of my clients, they live in the South Loop or like busy Lakeview and all that stuff, and their dog is reactive. And in the beginning, you're like, Jesse, this sucks.
Yeah.
My dog's being, I'm like, yeah, but your dog's reactive anyway.
Yes.
But what you're doing is you're training yourself, and eventually that does go away.
Yeah.
Because you're putting yourself into it, like, I know
Yeah.
it's going to happen, right? But then the next thing is when you turn a corner one day, dog.
That's literally every corner I turn with her, I get nervous. I try and like look around it before I go
Yeah.
around it. I'm afraid there's like a kid with the dog and like,
Yeah.
so I'm happy just to have, like the walking in the thing is like hard for me with her, but I'm happy to have something to do with the dogs because I just get so nervous about it.
Yeah, it's stressful, right?
Yeah.
So when you're stepping aside and you're doing this, you're building, a routine, a habit.
Yeah.
And then one day when you turn a corner, it's like, crap, boom, it's going to be quick.
Right.
Anytime I have a dog that blows up on me, the first thing within a second you see me just doing this.
Yeah.
Because the closer I am to that collar, the more immediate control
Right.
I have, and then I can kick in with the remote.
Yeah.
Okay? So leash first, then remote.
Okay.
Okay. For your corners, if you're turning right around the corner,
Okay.
you just fan out. So that,
Yeah, just do a big turn.
do a big turn.
Yeah.
Same thing when you're coming around the other way. You come out wide.
That's what I usually try and do,
That
yeah.
allows you to see the corner, okay?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to reactivity towards humans tends to go away first. Reactivity towards calm dogs is next. Reactivity towards excited puppy type energy in the middle. Other reactive dogs behind fences or sudden run-ins
Yeah,
in the spectrum.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, okay? So, because if the other person's dog is reactive, a lot of times they want to leave the situation too.
mhm,
So if they leave before you can shut her down, she thinks she won,
mhm.
okay?
It's harder to control the situation.
Yeah. If you turn the corner, dog,
Yeah,
again, right? So then sometimes what I'll do is once you figure out your number,
Mhm.
I'll be like, oh, it's 32.
yeah,
When you come around the corner, 32.
you're just ready.
Yeah, and then when you come around and back down,
Okay.
okay? And eventually you'll end up seeing like, wow, we've like had sudden running for dogs 20 times and
And
it's
she's
been,
okay.
she's been good. That you can just keep it normal.
Yeah,
But then don't be surprised if 6 months down the line she's
Out
coming
of nowhere,
and
yeah.
happens. But now you just go boop, boop, boop.
so that's great for like when dogs are passing us. Another time with me, at least when she's pretty reactive, is like if we're passing a house and there's people working on the house,
Mhm.
like back and forth, where I can't just like stop.
Oh, sure,
You know what I mean? Like there's
Sure.
someone in the front yard doing something or whatever.
sure.
What do I do?
Then you would shorten, just again to limit range of motion.
Okay.
But I don't want you to shorten and be tense.
It's short
You're
and then
just
just
shortening,
keep walking.
yeah, and then remoting.
Okay.
To get her to redirect. If possible, I go back and forth.
Okay.
So the last time, so you'll get like a few reps where
So
you're
she almost gets like
pressing her,
bored of it. She's like,
and then eventually she walks past, and the last thing she remembers is, I wasn't barking at the construction or whatever.
Okay.
Because if you end with tapping and trying to get her back, the last
She's
thing
in
was,
that
I was still
state.
barking at this
Yeah.
thing. And you're trying to get her to walk past a couple of
Yeah.
times, no reactivity. And we have a video of this on my YouTube channel. So I can send them to you as well, if you just shoot me an email.
okay,
I have the Malachi video, and I have a fence video that Enrique did with
Okay.
the client. So you can see it, get an idea of it.
yeah,
And then just implement it, okay?
okay, yeah,
Now,
that makes sense.
life is not going to afford you the option to always control the situation.
Right.
It's okay, okay? Good thing is you have a small dog. Containment.
That's what we've always said.
You
It's
know?
like if she was a bigger dog, we'd be much more.
Yeah, I have a lady right now. She's like 60s and 70s with a 80-pound dog. Okay?
That's like our saving grace is that like, I always say that if something really went bad, I could pick her up and like literally
Yeah.
remove her.
And then I only had a week to get that dog in line. And I'm like, do you know how like just terrible this is?
Yeah, I mean,
You
she
know?
could pull that woman to the street.
Yeah, no, when we had our first session, I showed up and the leash is on the ground. And I'm like, what happened here? And the dog blew up. And she had slipped on leash and then she ended up with a black eye. Yeah.
That would be my mom. That would happen to my mom.
No one had anything.
She would not, no, she wouldn't, but,
But yeah, so like, that's the, the bright side.
Yeah.
You can always just pull straight up.
yeah,
And I'll pull up till I even lift the front legs
yeah.
if it's really bad.
Well, because when we walk, I mean, I'll try and do that. I mean, I'm not doing it the right way, but when I used to, I'd be pulling her, trying to figure out the situation, and she would be just on her back leg still, or that's what she does with me. She's
Yeah.
still trying to get to
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah,
and she doesn't care.
yeah.
Like you're saying, the negative consequences, she doesn't care about this collar.
Oh,
And-
like a slip or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, because dogs bite each other.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
Like that's just how it is. But now you're biting her back.
right, right.
Okay? So you're gonna get, negative moments and stuff like that. It's normal. But now you have like a game plan.
Yeah,
And
yes,
you should start to see the reactivity just slowly decline.
yeah,
And then if the dog barks at her, don't be surprised if it's a little bit more work or it's a high power.
yeah,
Same thing if you just turn the corner and say, whoa, we were
Yeah.
off guard, super calm.
that makes sense.
Okay?
Yeah.
Awesome, guys.
Great.
Yep. If you have any questions, you let us know. Otherwise,